What's up, chooms? Welcome to StubSub. You might have noticed a little bit of a different subject in today's video, a little bit of a departure from the Star Wars Unlimited content that you're used to, but there's a really good reason for that. We here at the StubSub headquarters are all in on the new games from Weirdco and CD Projekt Red. Now, I've been a huge fan of Cyberpunk 2077, the video game, and the Edge Runners anime. So when I found out there would be a Cyberpunk TCG, I knew I would be checking it out. But as soon as I started seeing all the previews of all the different cards, the amazing card art, and got to know a little bit more about the team at Weirdco, I was hooked. The first thing you're going to notice about this game is that it looks insane. The card art might be the best I've ever seen in a TCG. I tried to find one card that didn't look great and I just couldn't do it. I guess it's possible that they're only showing us the good looking cards and keeping all the bad art for late spoilers, but I think they are just that good. I mean, look at this like Hanako Arasaka card. Looks amazing. I mean, like everything looks fantastic. There's like so many different kinds of art styles that are represented, but all of it still like fits in the cyberpunk aesthetic. If you're a fan of the video games, you're going to recognize a lot of these characters. Yeah, and look at this art. Alt Cunningham looks amazing. Every single piece looks awesome. I literally tried to go through here and just like try and find like a piece of art that didn't look good, and I just was not able to do it. So we got past the awesome art. How does the game actually play? I was happy to learn that Weirdco went with a simple to learn, difficult to master approach when designing the rules for this game. There's a quick start guide on their website, and I'll link that below in the description of this video, but it's only about a 12-page guide, and you could read this for 5 minutes, and if you've played a card game before, you will be able to feel like after that 5 minutes you could play a game of Cyberpunk TCG. That's how quick it is to learn. There's no like 20-page steps of combat that you need to learn like some other games that have come out recently. I was really happy that they went with this approach. Going through all this, you'll notice that there's like a couple of things that are will look familiar to fans of Star Wars Unlimited. Unlike the resourcing that we have in Star Wars Unlimited, there's like kind of a similar mechanic in Cyberpunk TCG. In this game, you can't resource any card in your hand. There's just like certain types of cards that have a symbol, and I'll find that for you. You see up here on the upper left underneath the cost, there's a sell tag that some cards have, and if the card has that sell tag, then you could place it face down into your Eddie's row, and that's how you can pay for cost of cards. Also similar to Star Wars Unlimited, they have legends in this game, kind of like your leader in Star Wars Unlimited. And unlike Star Wars Unlimited, you have 3 legends in Cyberpunk TCG, and you start the game by shuffling them up or randomizing them and placing them face down in this little row right here. And those legends can also be spent to pay for things. So you can turn them sideways just like you can other cards in your Eddie's row. Right off the bat, you have several resources to be able to pay for things, which will make games start up a little bit quicker. You don't have those like first couple turns where nobody's doing anything. And one thing that I really like about this legend mechanic is that they've kind of have a cool like balancing mechanic in place that when you throughout the game, you're going to be able to pay to flip face up those legends. And you actually do that because they're randomized in the beginning. You're not going to know exactly which legend you're flipping over. So you're not going to be able to rely exactly on having a certain effect at a certain point in the game. You'll kind of have to like have that cool random element, which I like. I like games that don't just always play out the same way. So there's another really cool deck building mechanic in this game, which is RAM cost. Similar to Star Wars Unlimited, how we have our leader and our bases that dictate the color of the cards that we can include in our decks. This game, cards also have colors. You can see this like V Corporate Exile is colored blue. So you'd be able to include blue color cards in your deck. It also has this little RAM logo up at the top right, and it says RAM X2. That means that if you had this legend in your deck, you would be able to include blue cards that had RAM cost up to 2. Now, if you wanted to include other blue cards that had higher RAM costs, you would just simply have to have another blue leader in your deck. Because what happens is basically you add those RAM costs together. So, like, um, say you have two blue leaders that both have RAM times 2, and then you have a green leader that has RAM times 3. That means that you could be able to have, you would add those blue leaders together, so you'd be able to have uh, blue cards in your deck that had a total RAM cost of 4, and green cards that had a total RAM cost of 3. Hopefully that makes sense. There are sort of learn to play videos that you could watch. I'll link to one below by Main Deck. There's a great learn to play video that'll go more in depth. I'm just kind of like giving like a really brief overview of some of the mechanics that might relate more to like the Star Wars Unlimited audience, and how, like, there's like some comparisons that you could make that'll make this game a lot easier to pick up. Like RAM costs and aspects in Star Wars Unlimited are like very similar. Like I said, this is all like very like simple rules. Only a 12-page little quick start guide. You spend 5 minutes on it, and I trust that you will have a grasp of like at least like how to get a first game underway. So, game looks cool. Seems like it's going to be fun. How do we actually get cards? Weird Code just launched a Kickstarter for Cyberpunk TCG last week, and it has basically gone the hell off. They have over $13 million raised, 17,200 backers. You can see the counter actually going up on the pledges right now. But that the idea behind doing a Kickstarter for TCG launch has been tried before, but I think that the way they're going about it is really cool. It makes a lot of sense. There have been so many games that have come out lately where you're just not able to get cards, especially in set ones. So what they're doing is they're kickstarting it so that you basically are able to pre-order and lock in your boxes, so that when this game actually comes out, if you back the Kickstarter, you will have cards in your hands. You will be able to make decks. And as you can see, if you're looking closely up here, you can see that I have actually backed this Kickstarter at the highest possible level. What I want to do is I want to make sure that people near me, maybe they missed the Kickstarter, whatever. They didn't find out about it until later. Or they just get on the hype train a little bit late. I want to make sure that those players will be able to get cards in hand locally, that we're going to be able to build up a community here in Atlanta or nearby. So I backed it at the highest level. But there are lots of other levels. Yeah, as you can see here, it's the most funded Kickstarter TCG of all time. But there are many different pledge tiers. You can back it just for $50 and get both of the like starter decks. All of these are below MSRP. And there's a lot of like really cool things that they're including. Like they have this beta box that you can get if you back it at $350 or more, and that beta box is going to have like tons of stuff like thrown into it. You're going to be super happy if you back at that level or higher. So I backed at a really high level, but I think you'll be happy pretty much no matter what. Even the starter decks come with a set of dice, so if you're not already a dice goblin, you'll be able to get some of those. But if you back at like some of the higher levels, they have really cool art sleeves. They're partnered with Dragon Shield for sleeves, which is awesome. I happen to be a big Dragon Shield fan. I have about 10 million boxes of Dragon Shield sleeves all over the StubHub studio. So it's cool that they're going to have like really cool art sleeves made by a really good company. They have tons of cool playmats that you can get either as add-ons or added into your pledge tier. But I'm super excited about this Kickstarter. They're partnered with so many cool companies. The dice look awesome. I'm just super hyped about this game. I'm a huge fan of the IP. So once they came out with they were coming out with the card game. Like I said, I knew I was going to be into it, but I couldn't be happier with how good a job they're doing with this whole thing. So if you're a Cyberpunk fan like me, do yourself a favor and check out the Kickstarter while it's still up. As of right now, you have about 3 weeks left to do so, but don't wait. I can promise you're going to want to get in on this. I put a link down below in the description of this video to get to that Kickstarter page, and I'll also put a link for you to check out a really great learn to play video. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.